Scary stories unearthed, the terrifying truth of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. The howling wind whipped against the 9 hikers as they trekked up the steep mountain pass. Igor led the friends with Krivonyshenko and Doroshenko close behind, all bundled in thick coats and hats against the brutal Siberian conditions. Though the warm tent beckoned at the end of the day's journey, an evil lurked amid the icy peaks. That night, as the expedition slept, horrors from the deep awoke. Strange orange lights shone from outside of their tents. Sounds of an alien tongue pierced the air. Half asleep, Igor emerged to investigate but froze in terror at the sight before him. Silhouettes of beings not of this world floated above the frozen landscape. As he watched, their unearthly eyes fell upon his group. Panicked screams roused the friends from their tents. Grabbing only the barest of supplies, they fled into the darkness to escape the creatures pursuing them. But the pass knew its prey. The maze of snowy crags conspired against the desperate climbers. One by one, the others fell prey to the pass's secrets. Broken bodies were later found. Signs of a struggle showed the terrible fate that befell this ill-fated expedition. Only Krivonyshenko survived outside of their terrible realm, left to wonder what became of his friends on that dark and icy night at Dyatlov Pass. What unearthly horrors lay in wait amid those treacherous peaks? Their true fate is a mystery that may never be solved. The harrowing timeline of the Dyatlov hikers' last journey. Here is the harrowing timeline of the Dyatlov hikers' last journey. January 23, 1959. The 9 experienced hikers depart Vizhai, packed and ready for their ambitious trek over the mountain pass known as Dyatlov. Led by Igor Dyatlov, high spirits are shared as they set off into the wilderness for their 12-day ski trip. January 26th. After making good progress, the group reaches the northwest shoulder of Kolotsiakl and begins their ascent up the mountain. Unbeknownst to them, dark forces have been awakened in the peaks by their intrusion into this cursed area. January 27th. A fierce blizzard blows in as the hikers make their camp for the night, hurriedly pitching tents against the howling wind. That night, unearthly screams pierce the snowstorm from somewhere high atop the pass. January 28th. When the friend failed to emerge from their tents, fellow hiker Krivonyshenko goes to investigate and makes a gruesome discovery. Torn tents and disjointed footprints betray a scene of panic. Following the tracks, more hacked and broken bodies are uncovered down the mountain, skins flayed from their faces. February 6th. Rescue teams are mobilized to search for the missing hikers. Over the next several weeks, the slowly thawing snow releases more corpses from the pass's icy grip. But what dark force could have caused such a bizarre and merciless attack? The mystery of Dyatlov Pass has yet to be solved. A detailed analysis of the eerie findings at the pass. When the first rescue teams entered the treacherous Kolotsiakl range, little could have prepared them for the aberrant scenes that awaited. Tent number 1, where Igor Dyatlov and 4 others stayed, was badly damaged, its inhabitants fleeing in bare feet into the night. Strange orange traces were detected on the snow nearby. Moving further uphill, rescuers found the partially clothed remains of Dyatlov and Nikolai Thibault Brignol under 4 inches of snow, their eyes oddly missing beneath swollen eyelids, though no external injuries were visible. Both died of hypothermia resulting from major anomalous physical trauma. Tents Nose 2 and 3 were abandoned, footprints leading down the pass in panic. At the edge of a forest under 5 inches of snow, the next 3 hikers were discovered. Zolotaryov showed injuries suggestive of major chest damage from a high-energy force. Slobodin displayed fatal cranial damage, and Thibault Brignol's body contained a fractured skull, missing tongue and eyes. The rescuers continued following the erratic tracks leading lower, discovering more prints and smeared blood trails in the snow. Finally, in a small cedar forest at the foot of the pass, the final 2 victims were located. Both Doroshenko and Kolovatov showed no outer wounds, but disturbingly lacked their eyes and tongues. In conclusion, the circumstances suggested sudden, powerful, unfamiliar forces, for reasons still unknown, attacked the group in the wilderness. Though various hypotheses have emerged over the past 6 decades, the true events of that icy February night on Dyatlov Pass remain one of the 20th century's most perplexing unsolved cases. What really happened to the 9 students in the mountains? Expert interviews shedding light on the supernatural and scientific speculations. Paranormal expert. The orange spheres reported and the violence done to the eyes and tongues point towards an otherworldly encounter. Perhaps the hikers accidentally disturbed a dormant interdimensional portal site in those mountains. There are unexplained lights and missing time elements that suggest a high strangeness event. Military historian. We must consider the pass was used for secret Soviet weapons testing in that area. Could experimental technology like sonic or radiation devices been unintentionally used on the hikers? The injuries don't align with typical animal attacks. Was it some accident or cover-up of a military exercise gone wrong? Alpine guide. Hypothermia seems an unlikely cause of death for such experienced climbers, especially with no clothes missing. An avalanche may have panicked them into fleeing, but snow readings show nothing significant fell. The wound patterns don't match simple rock slides. In over 20 years guiding, I've never seen injuries like what befell these people. Pathologist autopsy notes describe effects resembling blunt force trauma, yet no external wounds. Could infrasound waves or other unusual phenomenon generated immense internal pressures that ruptured organs and brains while leaving skin intact? The degradation of the eyeballs and tongues was unusual, but I can't say what specifically caused their demise. Lead investigator. All plausible conventional explanations seem insufficient to explain this strange tragedy. After 62 years, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the 20th century's most bizarre unsolved mysteries. The case file will likely stay open until more conclusive evidence comes to light, if it ever does, as to what truly happened on that fateful night in 1959. The enduring legacy of the Dyatlov Pass Incident in the lore of scary stories. Over 60 years since the unexplained death shocked the world, the Dyatlov Pass Incident continues to capture people's imaginations. The enduring mystery and bizarre details have ensured its place as one of the creepiest unsolved cases in modern history. In the decades following the initial investigation, stories began to spread of strange goings-on reported in the Dyatlov Pass area. Locals swore they saw bizarre lights in the sky and heard otherworldly sounds emanating from the craggy mountains where the hikers perished. Tales of ghostly apparitions roaming the high slopes at night only added to the intrigue and unease. As information became more accessible online, a new generation discovered the unnerving case. Artists were inspired to spin their own frightening interpretations of what may have been lurking in those icy Ukrainian peaks. Horror writers crafted chilling short stories and novels envisioning plausible, yet terrifying scenarios of the hikers' final moments. Films and documentaries brought breathtaking recreations and first-hand witness accounts to life on screen. Today, Dyatlov Pass continues to captivate paranormal explorers and amateur sleuths trying to solve history's great outdoors mystery. For many, it represents the perfect blend of isolated wilderness setting and baffling scientific puzzle to imagine their own bone-chilling conclusions. Its legacy as one of the eeriest unexplained places on Earth lives on in the lore and campfire tales that have immortalized this notorious and unsolved tragedy. The question remains, what really happened to the 9 hikers on that fateful night in 1959? What are some of the most popular theories about what happened to the hikers? Here are some of the most enduring theories about what may have befallen the Dyatlov hiking group. Avalanche theory. Perhaps an unexpected slide of snow and ice startled the hikers from their tents, scattering them down the mountainside in a panic. Though search teams found no trace of a large avalanche, Yeti attack. Could Russia's fabled beast, the abominable snowman, or another beast have ambushed the tents? Stranger still, why were multiple hikers found strangely mutilated? Government conspiracy. Some believe the Soviet government was testing secret weapons nearby and caused the hikers' demise through errant sonic pulses or unknown technology. Were they silenced to cover up a botched experiment? Paranormal forces. With the sightings of strange lights and radiation at the scene, more mystical explanations point to UFOs, ghosts, or interdimensional intruders along this vortex area. Internal desperation. As a last resort, some suggest the extreme cold and conditions caused a group psychosis that drove them to attack one another in a fight for survival against the unforgiving wilderness. The case remains unsolved, but after 62 years, the Dyatlov hikers' chilling fate continues to mystify, and the remote mountain pass retains its haunting hold over imagination. The truth may never be fully known about that fateful night on Dyatlov Pass.